closing beat, everybody. Happy Friday. How you doing out there? Sorry for the delay. I forgot we didn't tell our winner, the Guess the Dow. We had to make sure they got their announcement that they won there. We're playing a game. It's called Guess the Dow. If you watch the show, you know you probably played along. There were a lot of guesses this week, actually. But our winner was Jamie, one of our customers here, actually, with a guess of 24162.23. They were the closest without going over. They are a customer, so we just had to get their account credited $100. If you want to play and you're not a customer, you're welcome to play. If you win, we'll send you a $100 gift card. If you happen to be a customer, we will just credit your account like Jamie, the $100. So congratulations, Jamie, there for being the closest without going over. Website, bottom right-hand corner of your screen if you want to take a guess. This is our quick show we call the Closing Beat. Coming to you from the Speakeasy today, a little dark. But we're going to cover the stock market. We've got a lot to cover today, so I will get right into it there. Our class last night, Wine and Wealth class, good stuff, by the way. I don't mean to tease you guys, but good stuff. We went over a lot of details and studies about the month of April, how the month of April performs, and how it's performing exactly like it normally performs. We went through all the sort of data and showed that. So if you're one of our customers, be sure to log into the dojo and check that out. Also, our Jazz Artist of the Week will wrap up with Brian Bromberg. Hell of a bass player. He's got the final song we'll do this week. It's called Slap Happy. It's a good Friday kind of a song. I believe Marcus Miller's on that song as well, if you happen to know who that is. And really good. It's just a fun kind of Friday song if you're interested in participating there. Anyways, look at the stock market off to that side. You got the Dow higher by 704 points, 75 on the S&P, 117 on the NASDAQ. What in the world is going on out there? Let's take a look first at the charts. Make sure all that works right. Here's the S&P 500 back to the 50-day moving average. The NASDAQ underperformed today. Every day this week it outperformed. This week it took a little bit of a break. We covered this last night in our class, by the way, exactly why that is. The Dow also had a good day as well, up to the 50-day moving average, just continuing to plow higher. Everything looking good there. We had 2 straight days of negative economic news, and I thought the market mostly held it off nicely. So the last 2 days of the closing beat, we were talking about, hey, it was pretty nasty out there. The markets had a chance to sell off if they really wanted to, but they did not. But today, and actually started last night, we got 3 rounds of really good news, which caused the stock market to pop today. On the pop last night, there was a report that one of Gilead's drugs, you might have seen Gilead in the news today, one of their drugs is a treatment for the new coronavirus there, and that the treatment was going well. I was skeptical. Right? I looked into this a little bit. Let's just talk about what the market responded to today. Gilead Sciences higher and everything. Remdesivir is the drug. It's a treatment. So number one, people were excited because it was a treatment and it was not a vaccine, right? Vaccine would be exciting as well. However, vaccinations, obviously we need millions and millions and millions and hundreds of millions of those. So it would take longer to get to everybody. That'd be good news, but not great news. A treatment, we only treat people with symptoms of the virus. And so that's a lot smaller population, still a lot, but a lot smaller, which means we can produce them faster, get them to those people faster, and hopefully not have any casualties or anything. And so that was the excitement. However, when you look into it, Gilead Sciences didn't actually say anything, right? They don't actually agree with the report that came out. Here's what we got. The actual study was referring to only one segment of that study's patients. And coincidentally or conveniently, if you happen to look at it, they left out the placebo group. Right? So only one segment of that. The Gilead Sciences came out today and said the report by Stat, that's who put it out there, that was quoted was not statistically valid and that they expect the full data would be available at the end of the month that would come from them and will be drastically different. They said that the remdesivir may prove to be an effective treatment, but the reporting by Stat should not be used as a significant evidence for the outcome of the results there. So essentially, Gilead Sciences, the maker of this drug, said, whoa, you guys got a little carried away. And by the way, you left out half the test subjects out there, so that's not accurate. Nonetheless, the markets were still higher. That's number one. Number two. Boeing's going to be resuming production in phases and slowly over time here over the next couple weeks of their Seattle plant produces a 737 MAX and a couple other planes. That's going to start in 3 days, and they're going to phase it in over the next couple weeks, make sure they're all standing apart from each other and being able to still produce planes. That was good for the Dow. One of the reasons the Dow was one of the better performers today. And number three, we got reopening plans from the White House in the press conference yesterday about how we're going to go about reopening the economy and all the specifics about it. So it was no longer just talk. It was all specifics. So that was three things. It was also options expiration day. That kind of took a back seat to everything today. today. But that's the bottom line. That's why you have the stock markets higher today. Obviously, a lot of good news. Well, we'll take a lot of that good news there. Anyways, if we take a look at the stock market today, the Russell 2000 was the outperforming area of the market. The Russell 2000 is down currently 26.3% year to date. It is the weakest by far, almost double any other major index. The NASDAQ was the weakest on the day, and that was largely because the NASDAQ stocks out there that had been leading the way, your stay-at-home stocks, I'll show them in a second, those stocks actually took a break today, so the NASDAQ took a break there as well. The NASDAQ is only down 3.6% year to date, so that has been the strongest one, but it took a little bit of a break. Can I pop this thing up there? Yes, I can. Here are the stay-at-home stocks that we've been talking about. If we just zoom into one day, here is one day's performance. All of a sudden, that hot pink line, which is the S&P 500, is on top. It's been at the bottom, meaning all those stocks have been outperforming. So the S&P 500 does 2.86%. Everything else was weaker than the markets today, whereas if we just go back here a little bit, notice how everything else is stronger, right? If we go back to just the virus high there, the 19th of February, everything else is stronger and has been stronger than the S&P 500. Today, first sign of weakness, and not real weakness, I would just say they was overbought in the short term. All these stocks, they took a little bit of a break today, and because of that, you got the NASDAQ taking a little bit of a break as well. Tech stocks happen to just kind of fade away throughout the day. If you happen to see our FinTips video today, we did a video on should you be buying stocks that get government assistance. We covered a few of them and showed in particular the historical performance of the ones that did in the past from the 2008 crisis and beyond. So to give you an idea of that, you might want to check that out. I don't know if you care to watch that sort of thing. Also, I'll point out in our Outside the Virus show that goes up at 3 o'clock, interesting study, right? The stocks that will likely not be as volatile around earnings. How do you find them and which ones are they, right? And then third, why is that the case? We actually showed a bunch of those today. We showed those stocks that will be less volatile, explained why that would be the case, and they're coming up actually with their earnings there. So if you like the Outside the Virus show, it's more of a laid-back show, but all the data is on there. That was really cool to see. Anyways, enough promotion there. Let's move on. Let's go over through the individual sectors. Energy was your best performing sector today. You got a 10% gain on energy. That is going to be thanks to the oil service stocks. You got things like Marathon Petroleum still in the mix, 15, almost 16% on the day. Valero, very strong, 15% on the day there as well. And ConocoPhillips was the other one, I think. Yep, 13% on the day as well. Energy outperformed by a mile today. It was very, very strong. Why is that? The price of oil was lower, record lows for the price of oil. Actually, oil was down to its 19-year low at $18.20 a barrel. If you want to take a look here, my contracts have already rolled over to June, so it looks like it's higher, but oil was basically down on the day-to-day. If we were to use the old contract, it would be at $18.20 a barrel. Holy cow. But you got the energy sector higher. Why? Because if we reopen the economy and people start driving more and flying more and using oil generally and consuming all this stuff, that might help offset the demand. If it helps offset some of the demand, it means maybe these guys can make some profits. So that's the real geeky way to look at that. Moving on, financials were higher on the day. 5.25%. It was a broad rally. Sector still down on the week just by a touch there compared to the S&P 500 if you're taking a look there. In the regional banks, you could use the KRE to eliminate the large banks and look at only the regional banks like your Regions Financial, your State Street, and things like that. Both of those happen to report earnings there today, and that helped the sector overall. If you look at Regions Financial, it added 7.5% on the day, a much needed 7.5%, and State Street gave up, well, actually it gave up everything. State Street was flat. Started off with a gap up into the 50-day moving average and gave it back. Look at industrials there. You got a 5% gain on industrials for the day. That's mostly going to be your Boeing. Boeing got a 14% gain on the day in the industrial space there, but I don't want to leave out the new Raytheon. This is just the Raytheon Tech, which is Raytheon and United Technologies. Off to the side there, 6% gain on the day. And also in the defensive space, Lockheed Martin convincingly breaking above the 200-day moving average. Great little position there. So that is industrials. We go over to consumer discretionary, got a 3% gain on the day. Basically, every stock in the mix got a boost besides Amazon. Why is that? This was one of those days where the leaders took a break and money went elsewhere on the belief that the economy could do well. So Amazon took a little bit of a break today. Everything else in consumer discretionary largely did well, and because of that, you got the sector up 3% back above its 50-day moving average. There you go. That's just a couple sectors. There's not much else to really highlight there. If you look at the home builders as the group, you got about a 5% gain there, and REITs with a 3% gain. Hopefully that's not going to start chopping around in that range. Utilities back to the 50-day moving average, and I think we can move on. If you look at the price of Martin Transport, did you happen to see the video the other day? On Wednesday, our class was on, the FinTips video was on picking a stock in this market. How do you on earth go from all these stocks down to just one and then do that again and find another one and another one? So we might focus more on things like this, but what we did is we started with the market, we then went into the transport sector, and we went down to an individual stock, and we settled on Martin Transport. Not as a recommendation, but just to kind of illustrate why you would make these decisions. Martin Transport came out with their earnings today. Oh, sneaky me. I made the video knowing they have this earnings coming out, and put the exact reasons why they should do better than all the other transports. That actually came true today. 7% gain on the day. It's almost back to new highs. Had a really, really good day. If you want to check that out, that's Wednesday's video as well. How do you pick a stock in this particular market? Not just how to be a stock picker, but in this particular market with everything going on, what should you be thinking about? What company should you look at? Which one should you avoid? That involves a little bit of research. I did some of that for you there. I'll probably share another one with you there as well, but it was kind of cool. It was just fun to play along with that. I'm going to do one more. Probably over the weekend or something. Procter Gamble, 2.6% higher on the day. Very interesting earnings report. You know, I get a kick out of some of the things that analysts say or CEOs say and things like that. Stock had a good day. Organic sales in the U.S., which is just a fancy way of saying new sales that they didn't have to pay for. If you advertise on TV and that generates sales, that's not organic. You had to advertise to get those sales. For example, well, for Procter & Gamble, organic sales up 10% here in the U.S., and the CEO said he quoted it because of the pantry loading. They're buying the toilet paper and the paper towels and all the crap that we can't get anymore because everybody went and bought it all. And he actually said that he thinks that this is going to be a cycle that continues where people do sort of stock up, maybe not as much, but they stock up on these things in the event that something like that happens in the future. And then I thought it was funny, you know how every company that's large like this has different categories, like Apple's got their hardware, computers, services, and things like that. Procter & Gamble has a bunch of different divisions. They make a lot of stuff there and have a lot of different brands. What do you think was the weakest spots for Procter & Gamble if you're familiar with this company? Give you a hint, right? Got the hair getting a little bit long there. Grooming and beauty were the weaker spots in Procter & Gamble's business because we're all staying at home. Maybe we're not cutting our hair as much and can't get our hair cut, but nonetheless, I just thought that was cool. Those were the only weak spots, but everything else looked good for Procter & Gamble. Okay, let's move on here. What else do we got? Schlumberger, by the way, got rid of their dividend. 8% gain on the day, but they got rid of their dividend. That just came out. All right, here's what we got. 8 new highs on the day. They're all going to be biotech or healthcare related. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals hitting a new high there. Vertex Pharmaceuticals hitting a new high. This is all going to be on the vaccine, on the treatment sort of news. Abbott Labs actually pulled back. So Abbott pulled back there. They're the ones producing the tests. You got INSEE. I don't really like looking at this company. It is a volatile stock. INSEE hit $100, closed perfectly at $100 out of 4.5% on the day. And the other one in the space that made new highs was Eli Lilly, 1.6%. That's 5 of the 8 new highs out there. You have 62% of the S&P 500 still has to gain at least 20% to hit the previous highs, to get over the virus highs. You actually had no new lows on the day, but you had Franklin Templeton recovered all of yesterday and then some. Remember, it had 6% to go to hit the lows. It did, and then yesterday hit lows again. It recovered all of that today. So people trying to do a little bottom picking there, are ya? So actually, that's all I have for that one there. All right, virus-related news. You got Cedar Fair. Cedar Fair has suspended their dividend. They withdrew their guidance. Volume today was 3 times higher than average, almost 4 times higher than average there, by the way. Columbia Sportswear, that was about a 2.3% gain on the day. They suspended their dividend and share buybacks because of the virus there. And Uber, there you go, trying to move out of a little bit of a technical range there. Uber withdrew their guidance, and they said they've started an assistance program for their drivers to help support them and their meal drivers as well. Tough business. That's a tough one right now. What else do we have here? Yeah, earnings coming up on Monday. You've got Ally, Carnival Cruise, that'll be a focus because the CEO was just on TV the other day saying how things are really strong, looking really good. We'll see. You got Halliburton in the news reporting earnings as well. Equifax reporting earnings, and then after hours, you're going to have IBM, Steel Dynamics, and Zion Bank reporting. I will take a chance here and try to answer your questions. Otherwise, I'll get out of your way. Let you guys have a great weekend. I love it. I love it. No, man. Get your wife to cut your hair? No. No. She'll do something weird and go, it's cute. And then everybody will make fun of me. Nope. I just go get it by people that do this every day. I love it. Chris says, convinced the bottom was 323. As of now, nobody can disagree with you. Yeah, the market says that's the case. Too bad you can't see what public officials do with their portfolios. Well, there's been a couple that I would say got in trouble, but they don't get in any trouble, but they did make headlines on that. Yeah. AMC reportedly looking to file bankruptcy. I believe they are in talks already with legal teams. That was news earlier in the week. Sure was. Yep. There you go. Can a stock be part of the NASDAQ and the S&P? Absolutely. There's many of them. A stock can actually be part of the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P. Yeah. Stocks getting bailouts video was great. Oh, you like it? Cool. Thank you. Stocks that outperformed, that'd be a great follow-up, actually, to do something like that and say, well, what ones, if any, were outperformed and how did they outperform? Was it even worthwhile? And how would you pick? That'd be a tough one. I'm not sure I have anything geeky to add to that. That'd be a real tough one to pick. But I'm going to really start focusing the FinTip videos more on some of the geeky stuff. You know, we're going to focus on building portfolios, allocating percentages to portfolios, determining volatility and risk and things. So it's going to get a little detailed on some of them. We won't leave out the beginners, but we're going to be working on things like that. As of now, Boeing has other outside financing. Yep, they go back and forth. I don't know if these are just reports, but they go back and forth between saying they need help or they found outside funding. For the moment, they've got everything taken care of. So they say. Yep. You're newer to the market. Better to order stocks you're interested in tonight, or wait until the opening. You mean play after? I don't know what you're saying. Play after hours. If you mean doing research to like see what you might want to buy on Monday morning, if anything, yeah, that sounds like a fun weekend. One of your friends asked about Cedar Fair last week. There you go. Now you've got the news. We officially bear market proof. This will change America. Yeah, I don't understand, like from that side of things, from what the Fed has done and what the government's done. What's the matter with a little bear market every now and then? It's like I mean, I get it. People suffer and all that, but it's like we'll do anything to stop a bear market. And why do we have to interfere with the market? Let it do its thing. A slight chance Amazon's oversold? No way. No, not after just this one day. That's just a tiny little pullback after being very extended. If you meant to say overbought, I would agree. Yep. Oh, yeah. Nice. What do we think about Western Digital in general? So what you want to do if you're looking for individual stocks to buy, or if you own a bunch of them, what you're doing at this point is saying, okay, I get it. The markets have rallied. They've had some sort of run. What you want to do is look back and see which stocks are getting left behind. Probably little Russell 2000 type stocks, things like that. But look for stocks that are getting left behind. Those getting left behind, you may consider rebalancing to those that are leading the way, or at least showing an equal strength to the market or whatever your benchmark is. Western Digital lagging behind a little bit here, and so that would be one where you might want to say, well, do I stick with it, or do I go with something that's not lagging behind? Because a stock that is lagging behind when the market's going up, what do you think it does when the markets start pulling back? It's going to be one of the first that people sell because they get excited. They sell the weak stuff and go, ooh, now I can buy these things that were strong at a little bit of a discount. I'll sell a loser to buy a winner, or what they hope is a winner. Yep. A video on when to sell when you're up in a position. That should always be determined before you buy the stock, especially if you're DIY investor out there. Always before you buy the stock. Otherwise, you can't get rid of the emotion. All right? Rule number 1, get rid of the emotion in the game. Otherwise, you're asking for it. Please go back to the lows. I didn't buy enough. I love it. Well, we'll see. I mean, the market's obviously quite overbought here in the short term. We've got a little bit more room in the S&P 500 to our sort of technical resistance area up there, but we're in an area where I do expect you see the chop. Kind of like we saw this week. It did end bullish, but it was a Christmas tree type week where we had weakness, strength, I guess. But I think you see a lot more of that. And remember, earnings season is not over. It is going to keep going. Yep. All right, I'll leave you guys with that. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. If you want some more of the geeky stuff there, Wednesday's video on our YouTube channel and today's video on our YouTube channel, as well as the Outside the Virus if you want to know about stocks that performance after earnings there. Some of them wild, some of them really, muted is the word I think we used. And so you can see a list of those stocks and kind of play along if you'd like. That'll be on the Outside the Virus video. You guys have a great rest of your day and have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Enjoy.
Hey, wait! Before you go watch one of our other great videos, have you had a chance to see our new Fin Tips videos? They focus on one topic at a time, covering investing, personal finance, and anything that can quickly help you with your dough. Best of all, we'll keep it real short, because we know time is money.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.